Nicola Curran, how are you? Good to have you on the podcast.
Good. I'm really good. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. It's good to speak to somebody about the industry and about marketing and have a proper conversation.
So right now we reconnected after a million years in Clubhouse last year before, and we had such a great time in Clubhouse. We were speaking nearly every day. We were on rooms, and I really felt that lots of people in the industry were coming together. And then the industry opened up and we all went back into our little holes again, didn't we?
We did indeed. It served its purpose. Who knew it wasn't going to be around for that long? But
so give us an update, Nicola, on where you are with your business and what you're doing and how things are progressing since I last spoke to you.
Yeah, amazing. Well, in April, actually, I rebranded and I changed the business name. Everything changed to, it's now the Health and Fitness Business Club. We have the Health and Fitness Business Academy, got the free Facebook group for fitpros to come in there. Do weekly training. But the thing that I'm finding at the moment is, as we was having a conversation before, there's a bit of a split, although it's not a 50-50 split. There are some people in the health and fitness industry who have remained consistent throughout, who are still reaping the benefits of that. And then you've got others in the industry who are finding it a bit challenging. So for me, I have seen a slight drop off, but I'm hearing mixed things from people. There's, some people, as I've said, who are flying, are doing well, not seeing any real change, and others who've definitely been impacted, not just by the pandemic, but now by the alleged cost of living crisis. And I'm saying alleged because I really don't want to be brought into that narrative. I'm not burying my head in the sand, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody who is feeling the pinch on it. But I do think the media do love to hype something up. There's always got to be a drama. And in business, there is always a financial up and down going on somewhere. It's just what it is.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is exactly why I wanted you on this podcast, because you are such a straight shooter. You do not sugarcoat it. And you're so true. There's always something in business. That's what business is about. There's always ups and downs. Are you working with clients, fitpros, who are mainly online? Are they face-to-face community? Who's coming to you? Mix?
Yeah, a complete mix. I've got clients who are purely face-to-face, and they might have a studio, so they've got their own physical premises, or they may be back to hiring out locations. Then I've got clients who are purely online, and then you've got the hybrid mix. So yeah, a complete variation of what is going on out there. And it does seem to, well, I was going to say it differs depending on what location you're in, but even then, I think I've got clients that might be in London, and some that have seen there's no change, and others that have. I don't know. You can exactly pinpoint. It's not a location thing necessarily. It's not an ideal client thing necessarily. But the thing I know to be true from what I have seen is, if you've been consistent and you keep putting your marketing out there, then you're doing okay. You may not be doing as well as you want to be doing, but you're doing okay and you're surviving and the profit is okay. I think the biggest challenge can be when, and I've been guilty of this too. There are times when you're not quite feeling it and you take your foot off the pedal a bit. Maybe you stop a bit of marketing. You're not sure where direction you're going in. But when you do that, there's a lag time between then when you start putting things out again, there's a lag time between that going out and you seeing the rewards of it. And if you're always on, off, that's going to be your business. And that's just the way it is.
Yes, well articulated. That's a brilliant. I think that's right, because people say, well, I'm in London, or I'm in Wembley, or I'm in Manchester. There's always something. It's not working for me because of a reason. And I look at so many businesses and I think it's not that. It's marketing. That's the problem. Yeah. The problem is the marketing. It's either the message is not quite clear and not landing. It's the consistency, as we said, or it's the quantity. I don't think many people realize the amount of marketing that you need to do for somebody to see something cold so many times in so many different ways before someone is actually going to say, right, there's my credit card, I'm bought into that. What's your tips then on marketing? Here we go.
So it goes back to that, knowing who your ideal client is, the client avatar, but also sometimes you have to just revisit that. They may still be the same people, physical body, may not have changed that, but what they want and their struggles may have changed now. And if you don't change your messaging along with that, then you're not going to resonate enough. So I think for me, I would always advise people, just check in and see if the messaging that you are using is still relevant to those individuals now. Because we all changed through the pandemic. We're not the same people that we used to be. And, there'll be something else that changes us again. But our own problems, what I call our now problems. So I always talk about like the iceberg. If you imagine there's an iceberg, you've got the waterline, there's a little bit above here, and there's loads of stuff going on under there. You just need to be making sure that you're always talking to their now problems above the ice. That's the thing that's in their head all the time. So if you don't stay current with their now problems and use that in your marketing, you're not going to land, you're not going to resonate, and somebody else is going to come along that might. So for me, it is definitely about your messaging. And then just being bloody loud with it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word.
Yes,
but I've
swear away. Swear away.
just be loud and be proud with what it is that you do. Now is not the time to be bashful. Now is not the time to be quiet or take your foot off the pedal. Now is the time to just get out there, get noticed, but speak people's language, not your interpretation of their language.
Yeah, that's good. That's a brilliant statement. How do you advise people do check in with their members, clients, prospects? Open dialogue, Survey Monkey, Facebook groups. Yeah. What's your sort of thoughts on getting that communication and more?
Yeah, all of that. But I think the easiest thing, if you've already got a client base, is to do a survey. So literally, I've got a group running at the moment, and that's exactly what I've asked them to do, is to do a survey of specific questions so that they actually get their ideal client's words, and then look at the words that they're using. Don't then take those words and turn them into your own. Look at those words and use those words. You'll see there's some commonalities coming across, but that is a great way to do it. But equally, if you have got a Facebook group, making sure that you have like an entry question that you ask in 1 or 2 or in 3 entry questions, that the questions are about tapping into what's for example, what's their biggest challenge right now? Mm-hmm. Or if they could change something, what might that be? How would that make them feel? Because it's the emotions, it's the emotive wording we need to get into the marketing. So asking questions either in verbal dialogue or, as I said, entry questions or surveys is a great way and an easy way and a free way to do it.
Totally free. Yeah, really good point. Do you I think the question that comes up on my groups all the time is social media, and that's my favorite thing. I love social media, and you and I have been around the industry a long old time, way before social media, when you had to go door to door with leaflets, when you had to send FitPro $5,000 to send your leaflets out. I mean, it blows my mind when new people come and say, "Oh, it's hard work on social media." I think, bloody hell, who used to have to spend $5,000 to get a flyer out? Yeah, the FitPro magazine. What's your take on it? I think it's good to hear different people's perspective. People who listen to the podcast will know my perspective on social and time and content and what it should look like. What's sort of yours, really, from it? I think realistically that someone can do and create. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think you have to have a presence on social media. But choose the platforms that are most relevant to your ideal client. If you're trying to be across all platforms, I mean, I do not know how you do what you do on social media. I just could not do it. I do not have the capacity to do as much as you do. So I think you have to have the presence, choose wisely which platforms you're going to go on. And then it's about being consistent on those platforms. Now, whether consistent for you is every single day or whether consistent for you is 3 or 4 times a week, whatever it is, choose, do it, and be consistent. And then it's about being consistent. On those platforms. Now, whether consistent for you is every single day or whether consistent for you is 3 or 4 times a week, whatever it is, choose, do it, and be consistent. keep consistent. But also, I'm very much a fan of making sure you don't put all of your eggs in the social media basket, because they are not your contacts. So you have to be mindful of the fact that what else are you doing to maybe build like an email list, as an example, or do some offline marketing so that you keep the balance. But your question was more about social media. I also think that you need to play, like Facebook in particular is like an ecosystem. So you need to maximize on your, for example, your personal profile. Have you maximized enough on that so that if somebody now comes and checks you out, the likelihood is they're going to come and look at your name, your personal page. Is that optimized enough for them to go, that's what Rachel does. Oh, that's how I can get access to more of her. Just simple things like your cover photo and what you put as your nickname. Have you got some clickable links in there? All simple things that people miss out. And actually, if you are active on social media, maybe you're going into, I don't know, maybe you're doing some stuff in groups. Someone might take a look and say, that was really interesting. Let me go and check her out. Go and look at your personal page. And the amount of times that I check people out that join my group and they don't really have, they've got a page because you have to have it, get a business page, but there's nothing on there. I think you're just sending somebody down a dead end rabbit hole. So for me, I think that's a simple thing. It doesn't cost you anything, but optimize the ecosystem within Facebook, and then be consistent and make sure what you're giving out is useful, helpful information. That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more that you could go into on imagery and all the rest of it, but it's got to stand out. If you're just saying the same things as everybody else, you're just going to become white noise. So what can you do that's going to stop people scrolling through their phones? That's the key thing, isn't it? You've got to make people stop to look and see what's going on. And don't be afraid to be different.
Yeah, you've definitely got to stop the scroll. I think if you're marketing a face-to-face class and you're marketing a online, they're very different. The people that come to those have got different wants and needs and struggles. Question that comes up a lot is face-to-face marketing. How would you perhaps maybe give anybody listening who's solely face-to-face and just wants a bit of some ideas around marketing locally? You know, we always talk about the usual Facebook groups, and there's an app called Nextdoor that lots of people are getting quite a lot of good traction on. Build a community, etc. Anything that you're seeing that's working with anyone that's got a studio or doing community classes, that because it is hard. It's hard to get people out at night out of their homes. And it's not that we are competing with each other. We're competing with TV, Netflix, Disney Plus, cinema, drinks, restaurants. We're competing with everything leisure-wise. So it's got to be, the marketing's got to land. So any tips on face-to-face that's been useful for your clients, Nichola?
I love offline marketing. And I think it's the thing that most people are overlooking at the moment. So you can, first of all, I would do a bit of a survey again of your existing clients that you've currently got to see what types of services are they using in the local area, what groups are they part of. So you're trying to build up a picture of their offline habits. And then from there, there'll be things that you might be able to do where you might be able to put your flyers, for example. I know flyers are a bit old school, but they can still work brilliantly. Not so much if you're just putting them blindly through people's doors, because you don't know who's the other side of it. Now, you can do a test for it, of course you can, but you have to be prepared to test that more than once to know whether it worked. And also, again, it depends on the messaging that's on those flyers. But is there another service that provides a service to your ideal clients, not the same as yours, where you can come up with some kind of collaboration whereby they hand out your information. So it goes into the hands of potentially your ideal clients. So thinking about where you put your flyers is important, where you put your posters, making things as easy as possible, adding QR codes to it, making sure it's easy for people to just scan that and get access to whatever it is that you're offering. But I do think collaborations is a big thing now. I think more and more people are collaborating to help. And if you, particularly in a local area, if you can build that with other local businesses, you're going to have a much stronger presence in the area. So I would strongly advise that. I mean, for example, if you're Pilates, then can you build links with chiros, physios? What else can you do? Is there a particular shop, for example, that's very popular, or whatever it is? Think outside the box. And if it's, oh, nobody's really doing that, great, flipping do it then. Because if nobody's doing it, you've got an opportunity rather than doing the norm of what everybody else is doing.
That's brilliant. And all those businesses are the same. They're all looking to collab. They're looking to reach out. They need more customers, everybody in the localities. So start a network. People say, well, what do I do? Well, you reach out to them. You send a message on social. You like their pages. You like their Instagram. You send messages. You share what they're doing, and then they share what you're doing. And then you send, can I pop in for a coffee? It means going out your comfort zone, doesn't it? But it does work. It really works. Yeah,
it does work. And I think, if there are groups that you can maybe do a small talk within, like a little demonstration or something. Is it time consuming? Yeah. But if you've got a face-to-face business, then you just need to be in front of more people in your local area. So, and I think it's all too easy to just sit behind your laptop and do some online marketing and go, Facebook isn't working because they've stopped showing this, that, and the other. Okay, well, if you know that your reach is not as great as it used to be, or the cost for ad spend has gone up or whatever else, then get offline then. Do some more. And do you know what, Rachel? Even if you've got an online business, you can still do offline marketing.
100%. And the PR that you can gain from that is immeasurable. If you do a Google search just in your local area, there's women's business groups, there's men's business groups, there's WI, there's groups for everything, groups for landlords, there's everything. You can send a message to all of those. I think people don't often exhaust what's in front of them. Sit down, make a list, all the different groups, all the different businesses, hairdressers, nails, whoever fits your demographic, and send them a nice personal message and say, look, I've got business. Let's collab. Let's have a conversation, and just start a conversation. It's that simple, isn't it?
Yeah. I just pop in with a coffee. I bought a coffee, got 5 minutes, quick chat. I won't keep you any longer than 5 minutes. I know it's cheeky, but this is what I'm trying to do. You know, just be a bit different. Take some risks, be a bit cheeky. If that's your nature, of course. I appreciate it's not everybody's. It would be mine. I'd be like, I've got your coffee. You got 5 minutes? Let's have a chat. Yeah.
Very good. Great tips there, Nichola. Brilliant. Let's look to the future. Whew, gosh, where are we going with this whole business? Teaching classes, membership, studio. I think after the pandemic, maybe we all reevaluated the time we were spending on fitness, what we were doing. What's your thoughts for sort of the future of Group X as a whole? How do you sort of see it with your clients? What are they aspiring to do and take their business?
I think we are going to see a big resurge into our industry. I think our industry is going to become even more important once all of this nonsense settles down, because I think what the pandemic has taught pretty much everybody is your health is so important. I just think that I was doing a talk actually a few weeks back. I had a guest speaker come on. We was talking about riding the financial storm, but this was coming from an astrology perspective and a spiritual perspective.
Wow.
It was really interesting. Whether any listeners are into all of that stuff, I kind of, as I get older, I'm more and more into it. But it was a really fascinating take on how this isn't, we've kind of done, we're doing another full circle again, so it's like, if you can ride the storm right now, if you can buckle down, if you can be consistent and do what you need to do, make your business as sustainable as it can be. You might have to pivot, you might have to change a few things to meet the demand that's going on. Don't panic. Don't buy into the narrative that is out there. And then if you can ride that, I think it will come back. I think we will have a resurgence back into people going, okay, right, now let's look at me. How am I going to protect my health, my fitness? And so I think we're going to be in a great position. It's just a little bit uncomfortable at the moment because everybody's being, we're being, every time you switch on the news, which I'm now refusing to look at, is there's some kind of fear-based stuff going on, isn't there? Right. So if it's true for you, if it's uncomfortable for you, and that is true for you at the moment, okay, you've got to deal with that. But if it is not true for you at the moment, and you are not directly massively being impacted by your finances, then don't buy into that. Stick with what is true for you. Keep marketing to your business. Stay with it. And I truly, I'm not just saying that, I do believe that we are going to get through this and it's all going to come back around.
Yes, again. You are so speaking my language. I so agree with you. I think everyone needs to never forget that people will always want to be fit, healthy, happy, positive, leaner, fitter, stronger. Yeah. And we can offer all of that. And now we've got even more choices because we can offer it online, in a Facebook group, on a Zoom, in a community, outdoors, indoors. There's so much commercial space out there that you can collab with. I think there's never been more opportunities than there are now. But
and you're absolutely right. And the thing with it is, though, that the one of my kind of, I guess it's a big bugbear, also coming from a training provider background. And this is not, excuse me, it's not down to the training providers, but when you go through all your qualifications, so as fitpros, notoriously will invest very heavily into our skills and our knowledge to help our clients. But we know very little about marketing and business. And I say we, because obviously that's the background I came from, to coming through that and then focusing more on being business coaching. But I think what you need to do right now is invest a little bit more of your time and energy in learning and understanding more marketing and more business, so that you understand how to get your what you're offering out there more. I think that's the thing that's can make the difference to you. If you don't understand marketing, then you need to put some effort into that right now, because that's what's going to make you more sustainable for when it does come back around again. You'll be the survivor. You'll be there ready to take on more clients as they come back in.
Yeah, you are so right. Totally agree with that. Pricing, another one that you'll have this come up in your groups every day, probably the same as I do. Pricing. Shall we cut prices because there is an alleged recession, or there is a recession? Or should I offer 3 for 2, 5 for 10? You see this all the time, people really struggling with pricing. And I have seen people cutting prices, and I look at their offering and think, how on earth can you make this work at that low price? I don't think it's the answer. What do you think regarding pricing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the D word, the discount word. I think you can do an offer. I think that's okay. If you're, for example, if you're bringing in something new, you can do a first offer. That's fine. I think you can do some things like that. But you come back to your point. When you're asking the question, how is that sustainable? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If what you're charging is not sustainable for your business, then that's your answer. You can't charge that small amount. What's the point? Just because you think people can't afford anything, can't afford the price that you want to charge it at. Well, if you take it right down, so you think they will buy it, you're not going to be sustainable. So all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable. Whereas if you stay true with what you feel the value of it is, and it's not all about making millions or anything, but if you've got a profit margin in there, you are now safeguarding your business to remain sustainable so that you can continue to help those people, and for it to not all be so much in your head, because we make bad decisions around, particularly around pricing or around anything, when we're coming from a position of fear and lack. But if you get into that rut where you're looking at kind of dropping your prices down because somebody else has, then you're doing that from a position of fear and lack, and to me that never bodes well.
Agree
with that. So, but I always say to people, it's all well and good me saying, well, you could charge double that, triple that. That's my take on it. If you feel that by saying whatever the amount is, let's say it was £100 for a month, whatever, and the thought of you saying that to somebody fills you with dread, that you don't believe anybody is going to pay that amount of money, then you're right. They won't, no matter what I say, because your energy around it will change. When you come to say the amount, your pace, your tone, anything will change. You won't sell it because you'll give off something that tells people, oh, hang on a minute, this can't be right. On the other hand, if you feel that saying, oh, okay, well, then I need to drop it to £50 and you begrudge that, that's not going to work. So I try to get people to sit somewhere where they feel confident to say it without begrudging what somebody is going to pay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect.
And then you take it from there. There's necessarily no right or wrong answer. But if you're currently just dropping your prices out of fear, no. People are still investing in, what is it? The new latest iPhone just come out. Was it iPhone? I can't wait to see how many people have got their new iPhone.
Exactly.
They find the money for that, right? But so they will, if they see the value in it, they see how this thing that you're offering really helps them. That's the thing. Not just what you do, how it helps.
Yeah. And plus, if you go too low, you just get burnt out, because you get so pissed off with doing work for hardly any pay that you just get burnt out, and you do then attract nickel and dime clients that in the long run become very draining and tiring, and it's never wins, does it? It never works out that way. But you're right, it's a personal decision, and people have to really think about it. But ultimately, you cannot run a business for no profit. You can't do that. No one.
Well, should you? And I think I don't know what that is about our industry. Sometimes, I often hear, like, what's your goal, financial goal? Oh, I don't really have one. Like, why not? There's nothing wrong with having aspirations of a financial goal, because, I know money is not everything, but it gives you choices. And it means that you can do what it is that you want to do and still provide a flipping good service to other people, just because you're making some money out of it. It's okay to make money. It's okay.
100%. And it's a mindset, isn't it? So do you do quite a bit of money mindset work around it, Nichola?
Yeah.
Help people get over that hurdle.
Yeah, mindset is a big thing, isn't it, in business? No matter whether it's to do with the finances, or, whether you're struggling with imposter syndrome or procrastination or whatever it is, there's always something to work on with your mindset. Yeah, absolutely. Love that stuff, though.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting, isn't it? I think a last question to around business. Again, it comes up, and I really want to get your perspective on it. Is the majority of people that I work with are women? They're female fit pros, and again, you can tell me if yours are. Few guys around the edge, but mainly women. Women who are running businesses. They've got children, maybe got older parents, they've got commitments, a partner, a home, and still a lot of the home side of life falls into their laps as well. And they are often trying to run full-time businesses in part-time hours, with all the other life stuff. And many fit pros got into fitness really because they wanted to have a lifestyle fitness. They wanted to teach classes around the kids, or and have a nice lifestyle with it. But we are seeing that we're having to do so much more marketing. How are you helping people, or any advice around that balance? Do you think it's just accept or outsource, or sort of what's your thoughts around that?
Well, I don't just accept it. That's for sure. Do you need to do some outsourcing? Probably, yes. Highly likely, depending on the stage of business that you're at. But for me, it's looking at because if you want a lifestyle business, then you need to create your business model around the lifestyle that you want. Don't build a business hoping you're going to get a certain lifestyle from it.
That's great.
The wrong way around, because that won't happen. I don't know if anybody found that, but that won't happen, because then what you've done, you've just created a very busy job.
Yeah.
That may or may not pay you any money. If you've got a team working for you, you're probably the last person that gets paid. So I try to look at it from, okay, what do you want your life to look like? And let's try to create that model around that. Will you work doing X number of classes each week, charging whatever it is you're charging, give you what you want in your business so you can live the life that it is that you want? And I think the other thing that people underestimate is the amount of time you have to spend working on your business, not just in it. So it's a case of looking at, okay, well, if I'm going to do, I don't know, if I'm teaching 10, 15 classes a week, and you might say, okay, but it's only 10, 15 hours a week, Nichola, that's okay. Well, no, because you need to add on some extra time to that, probably double that again now then, for working on your business. How do you feel about now a 30-hour week? Okay, no, I don't want to do 30 hours a week. Well, then we need to come back a stage and say, okay, so what could your business now look like? Because if you just fill let's say you do want to do a 20-hour week because you're part-time, you want to do part-time in your business, you've got lots of other things going on. Okay, I can do 20 hours a week, so therefore I can do 10, 15 classes. That's never going to work out that way then, is it? You're never going to have a 20-hour week because you've just filled the vast majority of the time working in it. So for me, it is, you can achieve what it is that you want to achieve, but you have to be clear about what that is, what that looks like to start with, and then build the business around it, not the other way around. Very long answer to a very short question.
No, that was a brilliant answer. That was absolutely. Oh, this has been fascinating, Nichola. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm mindful of time because I know you've got another meeting coming up. What's next for you and your business? Where are you going next with yours? Because like me, you've had lots of your business has evolved and changed. You've rebranded. So where do you want to go with your business? How do you see it going?
Well, the Health and Fitness Business Club is a community that I want to grow, continue to grow. So that's a big priority. And then it is, for me, I've just launched a new 12-week program, Master Your Marketing. So it's teaching people certain elements of that business. So it's creating more under the Academy banner, more kind of courses, programs that are going to help people make the right choices and to move their business forward. So it's just building on that, Rachel, to be fair, but I'm really keen to create much more of the community online because so many people do feel like they're still on their own. And also, if you are just it is just you and your business and you're asking your friends or your family for opinions, oh gosh, good luck with that one. I don't bother with that anymore. Like, what do you think of this? No, okay, no, they're not a business owner. They don't understand it. So I think it's important to surround yourself by like-minded people. So for me, the community is a massive part of building the business.
Got it. And who inspires you? It doesn't have to be in fitness. When you go on social media in the morning, who do you have a look at? Who do you think, oh, what they're up to? That's given me a bit of an idea. Or what books or podcasts or YouTube or anything that you like to look at?
I might take a little look at you from time to time.
Oh, do you?
Your social media, you're always on flipping social media. So how can I not? But for me, because I love strategy and things like that. So I just really enjoy that. So I've got tons of books, but at the moment, as an example, I don't know if you've even read it or heard of it, The Untethered Soul. Have you heard?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's a mindset book. So at the moment, my thing is that because I'm purposely trying to detach from everything else that's going on. So could be a whole range of things. I've got my own coach that I work with, mindset and business. So it can vary. There's no one thing for me. It's like, okay, what's going on with me? Do I need to work more on my mindset? Let me go and immerse myself in that. is it right? I need to look at my strategy, then I'll switch to that. So there's no one person. I haven't got a definitive answer.
There's so much to look at, isn't there? Whether it's, I mean, I was looking at something, was it New York Fashion Week last week, and seeing all the influencers there, and I was thinking, oh, that's a really good idea how they were all covering it. There's so much inspiration from so many different sectors that we can bring into the fitness industry, from fashion to culture to music to what Apple doing, what's Apple doing, what's Amazon doing, the customer service. There's so much inspiration, isn't there, when you look around in front?
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. Fab. All right, Nichola. Well, that brings us up to time. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been lovely to have a catch up.
Fun.
Really good.
Thank you.
Where can people come and say hello to you? Where are you hanging out on socials?
So there's the free Facebook group, which is the Health and Fitness Business Club. So you can look at that. On Instagram, it's nichola.curran on there. But the Health and Fitness Business Club is all over Facebook and LinkedIn.
Fab. Thank you. Thanks, Nichola. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.